Hello everyone, I'm Justin Mott and welcome to my home here in Hanoi, Vietnam. And today we're going to talk about something that could make or break your photography game, your portfolio. Whether you're an aspiring professional or just looking to elevate your craft, I'm going to cover the biggest portfolio pet peeves that separate the amateurs from the pros. First things first, what separates a professional from an amateur photographer? Well, one of the big things that separates us is the ability to edit. And I don't mean post processing, I'm talking about curating your work, knowing what to keep and knowing what to cut. The shots I'm going to cover today are the ones that never make it into most pros' portfolios, yet somehow they often sneak into amateur collections. Now, of course, there are exceptions to every single rule out there, so don't want to hear the comments section. I am just talking about for the most part. Even some of these you might see in my portfolio occasionally. There's usually a reason for it. So now if you're just taking photos for fun or as a creative outlet, that's totally cool. I get it. Photography can be anything you want it to be: a distraction, emotional therapy, a way to tell a story, or just a reason to travel. But if you're ready to level up and move beyond the amateur league, this episode's for you. Quick shout out, today's episode is brought to you by my online store, askmott.com. Whether you're interested in one-on-one coaching, joining one of my upcoming workshops here in Vietnam, or even hiring me for a private session, a private workshop anywhere in the world, we've got you covered. Just let me know and my team can put together a quote for you. I've also got presets that will not make you a better photographer, but they will add some pop to your images. And I've got prints available with free shipping in the US and Canada. You can check all that out at askmott.com. All right, let's dive in and break down these common portfolio mistakes that scream amateur, and I'll tell you how to avoid them or how to improve them. The first one would be the one I see the most in my portfolio reviews, the most in my one-on-one online sessions. That would be that travel shot of the group of kids staring at your camera. This is a classic rookie move. Sure, it's cute. Pros know this kind of shot doesn't belong in a polished portfolio. It's more of a snapshot than a carefully crafted image. I'll never forget one of my New York Times editors saying to me, like, don't come back with pictures of kids looking at the camera. I don't want to see that. I wouldn't hire a photographer with images like that in their portfolio. And why not? It's a shot that says, like, you were there and the kids posed for me, and then you just sort of moved on and went on with your vacation. It's a shot you could take anywhere in the world. It doesn't bring you necessarily to that country. It comes off like a snapshot, comes off like an amateur shot. Yes, take the shot. That's totally fine. But if it makes it into your portfolio, any pro editor will immediately spot you as an amateur. How would you improve that shot? Well, go ahead and take the snap of the photo of the kids looking at the camera, and don't be a curmudgeon. Like, yeah, have fun with them, but then hang around for a bit. Wait for them to lose interest in you and capture something natural. Capture a natural moment, whether they were playing a game, try to catch them in action. The goal is to capture a slice of life and show it as if you weren't. That's just an easy way to elevate. Of course, yes, if you want to just take touristy shots, it's totally fine. If you want to improve, wait, be patient, and capture a natural moment. The next one on my list is the old person selling stuff shot. I see this one all the time as well. A classic shot of like an elderly person in a foreign country at a market or at their shop just holding up the thing that they're selling. Like, probably not selling earpods, but they're just holding it and they're like, hey, look at that. It's so awkward. It's so uncomfortable. It's not interesting. It's really boring. It's overdone and it lacks originality. Wow, I'm being mean today, but it's true. How do you improve a shot like this? Well, capture the scene naturally. If you see someone selling something interesting or they have a look that intrigues you, let the moment unfold without intervention. Or if you want a portrait, take the time to do it right. Engage with the person, ask for a few minutes of their time, see if they're willing, and then focus on getting the light, the expression, the composition, and the posture right. And if you want the object or the thing they're selling in the picture, do so in a creative way, not just them holding it. Like, here, I'm selling a Deluxe 8. I'm not, because I love this camera. Did a full episode of it. Check it out. The next shot on my list today is a random building shot in another country. Unless you're a skilled architectural photographer, a random building in your portfolio doesn't say much. It needs to tell a story or evoke some kind of emotion. If it's just there and it's not a good picture, leave it out of your portfolio. How do you improve it? If a building does catch your eye, find a way to bring it to life. Maybe include a human element, someone walking by, or if you prefer not to have people, wait for the light to hit that building just right. Look at the sun, figure it out. Come back if you need to. Experiment with different perspectives, like shooting through a window or capturing it through a reflection, like a puddle on the ground or a mirror. With something I think, be creative. The next one on my list is always the interesting subject, but the uninteresting photo. This one kills me all the time because there's so much potential there, and you had the eye to recognize something was interesting, and there could have been a photo, but you didn't capture it. You might have an amazing subject, but if the photo itself isn't compelling, it's not portfolio material. Pros make every image count. If it doesn't have that extra oomph factor in it, cut it. I see it with people, I see it with objects, I see it with details. I often see it at markets. People go to a foreign country and take a flat, poorly composed shot of some sort of interesting object like exotic fruits, for example, maybe dragon fruit because it's colorful and pink, or durian or jackfruit. They stop, they look at it, they take a picture, they prove that it exists, but they don't take a creative picture. How do you improve it? Well, focus on the details. Spend some time with the scene. Work the scene 360. If you find the fruit stall interesting, work a little bit. Take a step back. Get a little bit closer. Maybe frame the vendor's hand as they grab the fruit, or capture a shadow or another element that adds a little spice to the shot there. Next on my list is Unsharp Images. This one should go without saying, but here it is. If an image isn't sharp where it needs to be, it's a no-go in your portfolio. Pros pay attention to every detail, and a soft or out of focus subject can immediately kill your portfolio. It shows a lack of professionalism. How to improve it? Well, get things in focus. Make sure if you use autofocus, get a camera that autofocus as well, and learn the autofocus system. If you shoot with manual focus like I do, bracket your focus. Just take a couple extra shots. Double check on your screen to make sure if there's a shot that you like, make sure you double check to make sure the eyes are in focus, or whatever you want it to be in focus, make sure it's in focus. Double check, zoom in on your screen. In general, I tend to overshoot scenes that I really like just to make sure that I got something in focus. If I'm shooting commercial work, I can have someone check for me on the screen. If I'm shooting by myself, I always double check and confirm. The next one on my list is overexposed images. Any shot with distracting, overblown highlights should be removed from your portfolio. You might have nailed the composition, but if the exposure is off, it's not worth keeping. But really, I see this way too often. People with overblown highlights, whether shooting at night and there's a bright light in the background, or shooting during the day and it's a white sky, and it's like 50% of the shot is that bright, white, blown out sky. How do you improve it? Well, learn how to expose properly, and when in doubt, underexpose slightly in tricky lighting situations. You can recover details in shadows and in the midtones, but blown highlights are gone forever. Remember, the eye is drawn to the brightest part of an image. Make sure it's something worth looking at. And if you do have a bright light or you do have a bright sky, frame it out. Use creative composition to frame it out so it's not dominating your image. It's not dominating where the eye goes. Next on my list is redundancy. This is something we are all guilty of doing, but especially amateurs. Do you have 5 similar shots of a person walking through a pocket of light in black and white, all taken with a 28mm lens? If so, pick the best one and ditch the rest. Less is more when it comes to a pro portfolio. I often see amateurs that stuff their portfolio with images from that one trip to Antarctica, or that one story that they thought was their best, with 20 versions of the same photo where one does the trick. Remember, this is your portfolio. Now, of course, if this is a story you did and you're putting it on your website as a story, yes, you can have similar shots from the same story, but each image should say something different about that story. How do you improve this? Well, go through your portfolio with a critical eye. Best case is you get a second set of eyes to look at it. Be honest about what's redundant and take it out. I love my portrait of the rhino caretaker with the rhino, but I don't need to have multiple versions in my portfolio, or at least in my portrait section. Sure, I have other shots from that story. Each one adds something different to the story, but I don't need 5 particular versions of that portrait, even if it's a really nice picture. Next one on my list is having signs or words do the heavy lifting. There's such a tendency to do this early on in your career, looking at signs like, oh, don't pee here and someone's peeing here. Don't throw away garbage here, someone's throwing away garbage. It's overdone, it's quite cliche, it's quite boring. If the words in your photograph are carrying the weight of the story, carrying the weight of the image, you might want to consider a career in writing, not photography. A picture should be worth 1,000 words, not the other way around. How to improve it? Focus on capturing the essence of the scene without relying on text to tell the story. So my final thoughts, it sounds like I'm being pretty mean today, pretty harsh. I'm just trying to help you guys improve. And really, if you have these shots and you like taking these shots, go ahead and keep taking them. I'm just focused on telling people out there that want to improve, that really want to step their game up, or really want to look more pro, or have their portfolio more professional looking. This is just advice for you guys. So there you have it. Those are my top portfolio pet peeves and how to avoid them or how to improve on them. There are exceptions to every rule, and this is just my 2 cents from what editors have told me throughout my career, what I've learned in school, what I've learned from my 20 years of experience working as a professional photographer, and that's just my 2 cents. Remember, a pro portfolio isn't just about showing your best work, it's about showing work that's refined, thoughtful, and more importantly, intentional. I highly recommend getting a second set of eyes on your portfolio. I'm not just saying that because I do portfolio reviews. Have a friend do it, have someone you trust, or find someone else online. Just We get emotionally attached to our images, and it's hard to separate from that. So get a second set of eyes if you can. That's all for today, guys. If you're serious about leveling up your photography, check out my one-on-one photography classes. I've got a monthly mentorship program. I've also got 1-hour sessions. Or if you want to get deep, you want to go on an adventure, join me this December for my Vietnam photography workshop. Again, I offer private workshop by request only. You can send me an email, and my team will get back to you with a quote anywhere in the world for any amount of time. I mean, maybe a year might be rough, but you know what I mean, within reason. I've also got presets and prints available on my website at askmott.com. If you want to see my work, you want to see my portfolio, check out justinmott.com or my commercial portfolio at mottvisuals.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day.